Good afternoon. We are continuing with our Unit 9, working with slope-intercept, the y-intercept, the x-intercept. We're continuing that PO54 that we started on Tuesday. We are finishing it up today. So remember what we did on Tuesday was working with using that y-intercept form, that y equals mx plus b, to find our y-intercept and our slope and to be able to graph it. So we're going to continue with that same y-intercept or that slope-intercept equation. So we're going to look at our paper here. It says, you'll have to forgive me as I'm using the document camera instead of the smartboard. We're hoping that the smartboard will be up and running when we come back from spring break. So we'll be back to being able to see it easier in the classroom and me being able to write on stuff a lot easier. I don't like being off to the side as I'm talking to you guys working with the document camera. I like being right in front of us. So it's kind of throwing me off a little. So we're going to figure this out together. All right. So we'll start off with, says, graph each scenario on the coordinate plane provided, then answer the questions. So in order to graph it, we need to find that y-intercept, that slope. So let's look at number 1. You look outside and see 3 gopher holes. The number of gopher holes will increase by 2 each day. So label the x-axis number of days. So that this is the x goes across, so that's number. Oh, you know what? I can write it under here. The number of days is for that x-axis. The y-axis should be the gopher holes. So we're going to write gopher holes going up the side. And assign values in increments of 1. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's always the first thing, is knowing what your graph is. And then doing the same going up. Now B says plot the point representing the number of gopher holes for days 0 to 8. So we know this is our origin, so that's 0. So how many gopher holes are on day 0, right? 3. Because it said you look outside and see 3 gopher holes. So we're going to go 0, 3. We're going to plot that first point. And it's going to increase by 2 each day. So our next day, day 1, how many holes are we going to have? 5, because we're increasing it by 2. So on day 2, how many holes are we going to have? How many? 7, because we're increasing by 2. So plot 0 to 8, plot those numbers out, or plot those points on the graph. So you're going to do from 0 to 8. You need to make sure you plot them all, Paisley. It doesn't actually ask you to connect it with a line. So no, you don't need to. For C, it says, what is the slope of the line? Remember, slope is that rise over run. So you need to write down the rise over run. What is the slope? You're going to write it down. We're not going to share it. You find the slope, rise over run. Then it says, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Who can remind us what slope-intercept form is? What does that equation look like? Colin? Y equals mx plus b. So remember, if you need to look back at the beginning of this objective, what is the y? What is the m? What is the x? What is the b? You should be able to put it into the slope-intercept form. So you should be able to, you know what the slope is, because we just found the slope. So remember to look which of the letters stands for the slope. You should be able to figure out what the y-intercept is, because we have where it hits that y-axis. So what number are we going to put in for the y-intercept? And then E, how many gopher holes will there be after 14 days? So our days, number of days, what variable is that? I hear some people saying Y and some people saying X. Oh, it's X because it's on the X-axis. So number of days, if we go out to 14, in order to know what the Y is, we need to put the 14 in for the X. So you find your slope-intercept form with the slope and the y-intercept. Then you put in the 14 for the X, because number of days is our X-axis, and that'll tell you what the Y is. That'll tell you how many gopher holes. So we're using that equation that we've been using, filling in the information that they're giving us, using what we know about finding the slope, to be able to answer our final question of how many gopher holes will there be. Gopher holes is the Y. So we're solving for our Y to get our answer for E. Number 2, I'm going to have you work with number 2 on your own. See if you can figure it out. And I would like for this to be on your own for at least 15 minutes. Try to figure it out yourself. I know we love to work with our partners and work with our friends to figure it out, but I want you to figure it out on your own. See how much you can do without asking for help from someone else. So we're not going to be looking at what our neighbor did. It's not a test, but we have plenty of time in class today. I want you to challenge yourself to try to figure it out on your own. Okay, so try really hard to figure this number 2 out all by yourself. No, using the information they give you, using that y-intercept form, see if you can plug in the information to get the answer. For my friends at home, we hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon.